Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of Akashic Answers with Emily. Let's see, what is today? It is January 6th. Say hello to me once you get here. I'll tell you, I'll be truthful. I'm a little nervous about today's show. Couple reasons why. It's been a hot second since I've gone live. Although I've done this freaking a million times is probably an exaggeration, but I've done it at least 10,000 times now, which makes it a habit. But here's why I'm nervous today. What's up, Regina and Barbara? That's because I am so deep in the work myself that I know when I show up and I'm in the work myself, I'm like, geez, I never know what I'm going to say. I'm a loose cannon. So prepare to have some fun today. Y'all, what's up? Hello, I'm here to serve. My name's Emily Harrison, if we are just meeting for the first time. I'm the founder director here inside the Akashic Academy. And for the past decade, I'll qualify that by saying in this life for the past decade, I have been training visionaries, thought leaders, and difference makers how to exit the world of ordinary mind and tap into superconscious intelligence through their Akashic Records. All right, here's why I love the Akashic Records so much. For 20 years, I was an actress in Hollywood. And while I came from small town Missouri, y'all, I didn't grow up immersed in the Hollywood lifestyle. So I really had to break my way in. Okay, I'm gonna take my robe off here as we get real. And I had quite a bit of success in Hollywood. I was gritty, you know. I've really built a legacy for myself. And while it looked like all of this was true on the outside, which it is true, the part that, wasn't so outward or so public facing was the inward battle. And I felt depressed. I felt like, am I even on the right track? Anybody feel that about the jobs that you're in right now? I felt torn between building this big career. I felt really driven by a lot of masculine energy. Yes, there's a lot of great stuff in there too. There's a desire to create and to storytell. Although, all of my energies were not yet in balance. And there was a lot of challenge in my life that came because of the timeline that I was on. And this is true for everybody. I mean, our challenges, that's why we come to Earth, by the way. Hello, I'm not a special snowflake. That's why your soul comes to Earth. That's why my soul came here, was to learn and grow through our choice of experiences. We get to choose the life that we experience. And then the challenges that we experience along that path are designed for our highest good, designed to make us more resourceful. Yet I wasn't aware of that fully at the time. I was still asleep to that awareness that my challenges were divinely designed to make me more resourceful. Furthermore, I didn't have any tools that allowed me to tap in and understand what these challenges were from a soul level until I found the Akashic Records. So if you are new to the Akashic Records are the realm of consciousness that hold all information, past, present, all possible futures, and is recorded from a neutral perspective. Neutral means unconditional love and zero judgment. And in order to access the records, which we all have the ability to do, we are already wired to do this. Your abilities to tap into infinite consciousness, to the field of the Akash, your abilities to tap into your own body and heal yourself. This knowledge, this intelligence has been hidden here in plain sight. And we're waking up to it right now. So it's an exciting time to be here on the planet. I'll talk a little bit more about the astrology of everything if that's what y'all want to talk about today. Before I riff too much longer on what the Akashic Records are, let me just pause and say thank you for being here and opening up your heart, your mind, your awareness to train with me this week in the Akashic Records. That's what we're going to do here for the next 45 minutes or so. Depends on how long you guys want to hang out. We are going to extract intelligence from the Akashic Records. So if this is the realm of consciousness that holds the answers to everything, let's start mining it and asking it questions, specifically about the challenges that we're experiencing. I like to keep the work very pragmatic. Yes, you can tap into the records and you can ask about the future of humanity. You can ask about your starseed civilization. You can ask about past lives and future lives. And all that stuff is really fun to learn about. And when we make it applicable to what we're experiencing right now in our lives, we get action steps, we figure out how to show up and approach life differently. It gets really fun. Yes, Jonathan, balance. There's a balance to everything, right? That's what we're learning here. We're learning to balance these energies. Our masculine and feminine energies. That's a huge thematic aspect. All right. So when I learned to tap into the frequency of the Akashic Records, oh my God, everything started making sense. All right. I understood why my soul was drawn into Hollywood. I also understood that, like, after I learned how to read the records, honestly, y'all, this is way more exciting than any story in Hollywood because it's real. Like, we can tap in and learn to see ourselves from a higher perspective and understand what's going on, and break past our previous limitations. So some previous limitations that I've broken past are financial. That's been a big one for me in this lifetime. There were times in Hollywood where I would make a whole bunch of money for a project and then I wouldn't work again for 8 months. And I had this like accordion kind of energy with my finances where a windfall would come in and then I would go back into lack. Anybody experience that? That's a pattern. Okay. So I had to fundamentally understand that pattern and rewire it. Once I did, it took me like literally 8 months to completely rearrange my reality, meaning quintuple my income and go from not having a business that was generating enough money to support me and my family, to having a business that not only does that, but employs other people. It's really cool how this can work. Okay. I've had my clients use it to heal autoimmune issues that they're experiencing. All right. Autoimmune, that's cool because, we created it with really all dis-ease that we experience. We've created within our own bodies. All right. But the name autoimmune, I mean, it's kind of right there. It's the solution is right there in the problem, right? So once we can figure out why we've created these situations for ourselves, we can uncreate them and create something different. And furthermore, the Akashic Records not only gives us detailed information on how to do that, there's also an energy transmission. There's light quotient, a light frequency that comes in when you're dealing with data intelligence. This is light. It's photonic light. All right. And it upgrades what our awareness, it upgrades what becomes possible for us. It upgrades our bandwidth. Okay. It can help our emotional bodies where we've got trapped emotions that are preventing us from moving into action. That stuff begins to clear. Right. Barbara having some powerful experiences since diving in. Frank says, don't you have a man to take care of your family? Thanks for asking. That can be a whole episode in and of itself. I don't even know how to answer that. Thanks for asking. Yes. Who knows what I'm going to say today? Who knows how much of it I'm going to go into? All right. Actually, I'll let it rip a little bit for y'all. And while I go into some storytelling, first of all, let me set the stage because I don't want to talk about myself the whole time, although some of you are like, oh, really, Emily? You have so far. I want to be able to help and support you guys. So I want you to start asking questions. All right. Light up my chat box with questions, areas where you feel stuck, where you're at the end of your rope, you want some answers, you're ready to do something differently. All right. And I'll tell you about one of the challenges that I'm currently experiencing. To answer Frank's question, don't you have a man around? The life partner, the guy that I married, my ex-husband, soon to be officially ex-husband, he and I split in 2019. It's a very karmic relationship. One of the things that we didn't do going into that relationship, because I didn't have any awareness of this, was understanding what the nature of the soul lessons were that we had signed up for together. Has anybody built a relationship like this so far? Okay. Since then, I'm trying out some new things. I'll tell you. All right. So this was it was a very karmic relationship, and times when it was really the fairy tale, and then times when it was like totally the opposite of that. And once we split, I mean, because we loved each other very much, yet we did experience the tumultuous aspects of, and maybe this is an example of the twin flame energy, because I think a lot of people misunderstand the twin flame energy. Not only can you highlight and support the highest potential in each other, but you can also bring out the most villainous aspects of your own soul together. And that's what we experienced. And once that was complete, we didn't have a good construct around closure and how to peacefully end that relationship. So it ended with a lot of heartbreak that, he left, and in a space to save himself, left for a long time, had, limited contact with the kids. I picked up, and I will say, in terms of masculine and feminine energy, I mean, once that happened, I picked up that role of the masculine energy and providing for the family in more of a physical way. But y'all, I was not in balance in those energies in my own being before that. Meaning, we'll go back to like my Hollywood life and my Hollywood career. Man, I had strong vision, powerful determination, perseverance, like freaking, there was no compromise about anything. And so when it came to my career, and so I would steamroll anything in our relationship that had to do with my career. And that's me not allowing him to be in his masculine energy. So we suffered greatly from that experience. And the cool thing is now we are moving into a place where we are moving the relationship into closure and completion. He has somebody new in his life. This is the first time that I've seen that or experienced it. I haven't actually like seen it in real life yet, but I know about it. Okay. And his return into the kid's life, especially like in one of them in particular, is evoking anger for the time that he wasn't there. And so I'm stepping back and just like recognizing what's mine. How do I show up to this? And this is the stuff that I go into the Akashic Records and I ask. I love that David was here early and he bolted. Yeah, he has something come up. That was me last week. For those of you who tuned in last week, I did decide to cancel the show at the last minute because stuff came up in my field that I'm like, holy crap, I can only give from a place of overflow. And I needed my energy, my bandwidth at that point in time to show up for that particular kid. And I didn't know what to do. So what I did was what I always do when I don't know what to do, is to go inward. And I went into the sweat lodge. Actually, sorry, it's a sauna, but I treated it like a sweat lodge. And did rounds of chanting and praying and detoxing, and then noticing what was coming alive in my field afterwards, the thoughts that illuminated in my mind. I opened the Akashic Records, I asked for guidance, okay? And it was tremendous what came through. All right. So that's the long answer to what's going on in in our family and how we're reorienting, we're reorganizing from within. We're taking a look at, and that's the big component about how the Akashic Records work. And that is, we've got to be willing to take responsibility for everything that we've created. And we have to understand it and see it. All right. So taking a look at the trauma and recognizing, how did I participate in this? What was the lesson that was here for my soul to learn is really, really important. Frank says, ooh, this is gonna be raw and hot today, y'all. Frank says, so you couldn't, for the sake of the kids' last 18 years, you just destroyed your kid's life because you couldn't handle who you married and have children with. That's crazy. I would say, if I were like to take full responsibility, it was more that I couldn't handle myself and my own nervous system. One, I didn't recognize that my nervous system was so damaged, to be perfectly honest with you. Right? From being in that state of overdrive and constantly needing to produce or be somebody or get the next role, and live with so much expectation. So my nervous system wasn't balanced, and yeah, I was angry. I definitely had like the angry feminine energy, and we were not able. So the answer is no. We were not able to find the tools. I'll take responsibility for myself. I wasn't able to find the tools in that relationship in order to calm my nervous system and heal and really understand myself. Even with the Akashic Records, okay, I had to take a full step back and really look at the healing of my own nervous system. And that's a place where I'll invite everybody to work right now. I mean, Mother Earth herself is showing us the importance of balancing our nervous systems as we look into the reality that we've all created. Like, we can see the instability here. And in order to create some new stability in our physical reality, we've got to start by creating it within. You cared more about your career than your family, and look what happened. Yeah, honestly, I did, because here's why. Because I felt like that was the place where I was going to get love and validation, and I didn't know how to experience it or love myself in order to allow that reflection into my family, right? In order to reflect into my outer reality. And that's what makes me such a good teacher, is that I'm willing to talk about it right now. Okay. So as I learned how to read the Akashic Records, I was able to see myself, like, it takes a radical amount of self-love to show up and to take a level of responsibility that hopefully I'm modeling for y'all right now. And I wouldn't choose it again. I mean, I think that another big aspect of our soul learning right now is, where we are still operating out of wounded ego, and learning to heal that within ourselves and then create something different, all in the same lifetime. And in order to find peace and balance here on the planet, somebody got to lay their weapons down, and you can't be constantly pointing at the other person. We've got to figure out where we lay the weapons down within ourselves, where we come into peace with ourselves. Lynn says, seems like a heckler. Could be. Yeah, and great point. Great point, Lynn. That's another aspect that the Akashic Records has really helped me to understand too, which is they have free will. And they chose me to experience this with. Maybe they have, a higher level of forgiveness, a soul level of forgiveness. Maybe they did me dirty in a laugh before, and they're like, all right, this time you can get me good, Mom. And you can talk to any one of my kids. I mean, they'll tell you the truth about the areas where, I showed up in really my highest frequency, and areas where I showed up in my shadow. And that's what all of us, that's the experience that we're all having here. Right. All right. So enough about me. Let's talk about y'all. What about you, Frank? Where's your shadow? Want to share? Oh, here's another reason why it's really important to take a level of ownership. Yeah. And Frank, thank you for honoring that. That's probably helping a lot of other women. Yeah, I think a lot of women in the collective and the divine feminine energy, I'll just say this, man, the feminist movement, I got to keep that shit in balance, right? It invited women out of our polarity, which is to hold that frequency of the divine feminine and enter into the space of the masculine and conform to be more masculine. And from a very primal energetic level, it pissed a lot of women off that we no longer know how to feel comfortable in our divine feminine. And operate and like keep our families together. Yeah, that sucks, man. Especially to be a spiritual healer and to experience that, right? And the reason why it's important, though, to keep it so close, meaning so raw in this lifetime, is that it keeps me highly accountable to not do it again, right? We're more acutely aware. Okay. Frank says, hell yeah, I want to share. Ask me a question. No, you have to ask the questions. All right. So y'all who are here, who you know how it goes, send some love, likes, hearts across the screen. If this has been helpful, let me know what's landed for you. Jonathan says, we all have instability at some point. You're a good teacher. Thank you. For y'all who have not experienced my teaching styles, today is more of a monologue improv. But for those of you, if you do want to experience some teaching style, because I do feel like, yeah, I'm good at that. I'm fun. You can decide for yourself. All right, here's where you can tap in and get y'all some free teaching. All right, so this is an intuitive development training. This is going to teach you how to flip on your psychic senses, your intuitive gifts. All right, your intuition is your ability to know something instantly. The vast majority of us are operating in our logic rather than our intuition. And your intuition fills in the gap that your logic leaves behind. Logic can only fill in from experience. Okay? Your intuition can tap into this infinite source of intelligence and bring you wisdom. Now, how the wisdom drops in, it comes into your imagination. All right. So those of us who feel like our imagination isn't real, we got to get over that. We got to start playing with our imagination again. What this training does is it breaks down very simply how your imagination works, what your psychic senses are, and how you can exercise them in 15 seconds a day so that your intuition becomes a reliable source of wisdom. Okay. When your intuition becomes a reliable source of wisdom, you get to stop second guessing yourself. How many of you would save some time if you didn't spend so much time second guessing yourself? Frank, nope. It's not actually all about me, but I don't bring just anybody live on the air. Frank, this must be the first time you hear. Y'all don't get to come on the air with me because y'all might be a looser cannon than me. Who knows? And then who knows what you're going to say or where you are, or even if you're dressed, you know? Yeah. So you haven't been vetted. And no, it's not all about me. Here's what the service is that y'all get today is if you resonate with the intelligence. If you don't, you can leave it and you can go on and find something else to do. And don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, as my granny would say. All right. But everyone has the ability to tap into the Akashic Records. I'm going to take on that responsibility of channeling insight, transmissions, medicine that comes through today for us based on your questions. All right. So you asked me about the questions of where you want to tap the information, where you want wisdom, guidance, and clarity in your life. And I will channel in the insight that's available to me in the space. Information is available to each one of you as well. So I invite you to pay attention to what you're getting, what drops into your field. I'm trying to move right to the middle of my screen. There we go. I think I need to move over just a little bit more. All right. So while y'all are firing up the chat box here with questions and Frank is deciding if he likes me or not, if he's going to stay or not, I'll share with y'all some upcoming events. Okay. So if you live in the Los Angeles, not that one. No, that's not that one. There we go. Conscious Life Expo. If you live in the Los Angeles area or you want to fly in, February 20th through the 23rd is the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles. It will be a who's who event of everybody in the quantum field. Yours truly, I will be there talking about how to embody your future self right now and be doing live channeled readings for the audience. So come hang out if you're going to be there. Then if you want to join us in Sedona, there is Rise of the Guardians conference. All right. You can see some of the speaker lineup right there. My good buddy Bill Holman and the Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull is going to be there along with Emery Smith, He's a big deal. Brad Olson, the Lion King, or the Leo King, Lily Nova. I'm stoked to meet Lily. You guys, Lily is from Missouri, like me. We've talked a little bit on Facebook, but I'm excited to meet her in person. And then one more thing for y'all who want a deeper dive. Remember, the Akashic Alchemy Immersion on Mount Shasta happens every year over Lionsgate. All right, this is for those of you who are ready to have a mystical experience where you are going to download your unique mission here on the planet and use the planetary vortexes to align your timeline to the timeline of highest potential. All right, there is an application process if you want to join us at Mount Shasta. All the details for all of these events are in the details. And let's dive into y'all's questions. Jonathan, how does one open a numb heart? Great question. Let me see what the guides want to say about a numb heart. First thing they say is I'm just going to start working with my tuning fork here. So anybody who wants to open their heart more, you can say yes to receive this activation right now. Okay, so the guides say that the reason that we numb our heart or numb our feelings is self-preservation. It's like a self-soothing tactic. Like think about being, I like being a baby and sucking your thumb. It's what happens when, yeah, everyone's saying yes, yes, yes. You guys are feeling that, yes. Okay. When we don't feel safe anymore in our body, when we don't feel safe feeling our emotions. So while I started and went right into the heart, whacking my mic there, went right into the heart. What I'm doing right now is I'm activating the heart intelligence. Okay, and that heart intelligence is inviting me to move down into the root chakra. This is where we experience safety and security. All right, so the first thing in order to open up a numb heart is we've got to feel safe feeling our emotions and then expressing our emotions. And those are two slightly different stages. Feeling the emotion and expressing the emotion. Okay? So if you want to receive activation so that you feel safe, feeling your emotion and expressing your emotion, you can say yes now. And for those of you who say yes, this energy is going to travel from the root up into the sacral. Sacral is where we store unprocessed emotion. So your sacral is going to begin to open up so that you can feel and experience the emotion again. Okay, and then that energy is going to travel up. It's spiraling up right now. It's spiraling up into your solar plexus. That's your personal power. That's where you have expression. Okay, where we're not afraid to express. You might even want to move the body a little bit right now just to conduct that energy, that expression. Good. Okay. So that's stage one of opening up a numb heart right now. Right there, Jonathan, maybe a little bit dizzy. Y'all let me know what you're feeling as you receive that activation. The guys do want to speak on the challenges that we face when we have a numb heart. Let me just find the mic right there. All right. So the guides say that when our heart becomes numb, we are actually kinking the hose to our divine power and our ability to manifest, our ability to create. Okay, one of the fastest ways to manifest is through the emotional body, is through feeling. The vibrational quality of our feelings is very potent when it comes to creating reality. And when we can get laser focused on aligning our thoughts, right? Meaning we are thinking the thoughts that add up to what we want to experience. All right, most of us have big, grand visions for the life that we want to live. And big, grand vision can, by the way, just include peace. Feel like we're far away from it. I feel far away from it sometimes. Sometimes I feel so close and tapped in. And here's what changes it. Nothing in the outside world changes it. It's my perspective. It's my thoughts. It's me rearranging my thoughts. If I'm not feeling peaceful, it's because I'm not thinking peaceful thoughts. Okay. If I'm not feeling abundant, it's because I'm not thinking abundant thoughts. All right. If I'm not feeling balance in my life, it's because I'm not thinking balanced thoughts. So you got to start by adjusting your thoughts, laser focused thoughts, mind taming, firewalling those thoughts that come up. And we're all going to have them. We all have a shadow voice that speaks the contrary to us. All right. Laser focus, firewall, and eventually those voices calm down. Like we can identify that those voices are coming from ego, they're coming from shadow, they're coming from lack, they're coming from limitation. And we learn to dial our energy. So you dial your mental focus and then you practice, and sometimes it takes practice, feeling the feelings associated with the state that we want to create. Okay, let me know if any of this makes sense. And the guides are saying this is of utmost importance right now that we do heal our emotional bodies and that we become comfortable feeling. We become comfortable in vulnerability. We become comfortable expressing. This is where the essence of our creatorship comes from. We all are all artists and here to create. We're creating our lives, our experiences in every single moment. Hello, Peter. We are creating our future right now. Okay, so here's an example of healing the emotional body, feeling safe enough to feel our emotions again, and then how we go about dialing them. All right, ask me some more questions here in the comments because Frank's going to love this. I'm going to be talking about myself again. Thank you, Frank, for playing along. You've been fun today. In regard to what I was sharing about my own personal experience and seeing, not physically seeing, just knowing about my ex and his new lady. Okay. Here's what I want to cultivate and what I want to experience. All right. I have had step mother figures and stepfather figures in my life who have added a lot of value to my life. And I would love to cultivate that experience for my kids. I was not instantly there. Okay. What came up first was pain and trauma and the sting of the whole thing. It was where my emotional body wasn't healed enough yet, where I didn't feel safe enough feeling my emotions yet. So I created some space and let myself have my emotions about it. I stalked her on social media. I didn't reach out to her. Right? I wrote my journal about it. I cried about it. Oh, I did all the things. Okay. I let my human have her experience. All right. And then I said, okay, how do I want to show up? What does that look like? And that's when I remembered, oh yeah, you've had step parental figures in your life who have been really valuable. Wouldn't that be cool for your kids? Wouldn't it be cool if, and so that's where my mind started to go. Wouldn't it be cool if? Okay. And I got really clear about that's defining success. What does success look like? It would be really cool if. And I got super clear about what that looked like. If we could show up in a state of being friends, forgiveness for the ways that we hurt each other, deep honor and reverence for the beautiful aspects of this relationship, and then support each other's future endeavors and definitely show up together to support our kids. Okay, so now that I've got the thought frame of how I want to show up, I've got to practice those feelings. And I've shared with a couple people in my life, they're like, Emily, how are you? I'm like, well, this is going on. And I want to be happy for them. And I realize it's going to take some practice. All right, so that's, my experience with, and a very like tangible 3D raw example, hopefully, of how we're creating our lives. So yeah, Frank, now I'm showing up, prioritizing my family and how I want them to experience life and how I want to participate in that. And I'm dissecting it from a really high level, right? I'm not winging it, hoping that I'm going to figure it out this time. I'm asking myself really, really specific questions. Frank says, you're welcome. All right, let's dive back in. Let me know if that was helpful. Regina said, yep, that made sense. Sunny Moon makes sense. Healing, good, good, good. I talk like Michelle Obama in riddles. Okay. Who else has a question? See, now you know why her husband left. Yeah, seriously, like I'm a handful. Who wants to sign up? Just kidding. No, I'm not. No. Cancel that. Okay. Oh, my George says, seeking angels to help me fly out and join all. Oh, for all of those events. Yes. All right. What other questions do y'all have? Let me know what questions. Some comments are troll, like, yeah, I mean, Frank's definitely riding the edge. Yeah, we'll have some more tolerance in here. I'm having fun with him, so let's all love each other, okay? Let's just love each other. All right, but play along. Ask me some more questions. Please clue on improving health. Oh, improving. Sorry. Let's improv some health, y'all. Okay, please clue in on improving health. Yes, Carrie, yes, I see your questions. Rock and roll, y'all. Let's play. Okay, let me tap in and see what the guides have to say on improving our health. Ooh, okay, so one of the biggest things we can do right now, the guides are saying, is earthing, which is taking shoes and socks off, standing barefoot on the earth, and rebalancing ourselves with the intelligence of Mother Earth. This will activate the innate intelligence within, which is also waking up within Mother Earth, to move her back into a state of divine balance. The second thing that we can do is work on our nervous systems, is what the guides are saying, because there is innate intelligence available for us in our bodies. Okay. However, if our nervous systems are out of balance, what that means is that our bodies know naturally what to do to bring us back into a state of optimal health. And so relaxing our nervous systems, okay, and allowing the energy to move within the body how it's designed to move, because the energy within all of us needs to rearrange right now, to rearrange reality. Okay. We got to keep channels very open and fluid. We're all rearranging. Let me see what else the guides have to say about our health. Sleep is really important right now. For those of you who want to pick up on the extra impulses, the extra data that is available in the field, what the guides are saying is increase your electrolyte and trace mineral intake. Okay, that's going to increase your cellular function again, so your body can do what it's naturally meant to do. All right, we want to activate some innate intelligence within the body. All right, so anybody who wants to activate that innate intelligence within your body, you can say yes now. This is a very powerful activation. I hope you guys are choosing to receive this one. The innate intelligence of the body is, in essence, the Akashic Records. Okay. Powerful stuff. All righty. Lynn, you said specifically under the ribs. Let me just get in there and see. The guys are saying anger and fear. So you can work on releasing some anger and fear. All right. All right. Carrie says, what am I supposed to learn from this on again, off again relationship that I have been in? Okay. Yes. All right. So what the guides are saying is that um we're tweaking the question a little bit here in my mind, which is why I'm like, The reason that you're in the on again, off again relationship and that you're caught in this cycle is because it's like you're not getting the lessons. Anytime, and this is goes for anybody who's caught in any cycle on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. Okay. It's because we're not getting the lessons and we haven't moved that into completion, into closure. And this is what happens. I think this is what happens with relationships when we don't enter into relationships with an understanding of, hey, where does my soul want to learn and grow right now? With you, the other person that you're entering into the relationship with. Okay. What am I desiring to experience? What does my soul want to learn and grow? Getting clear about that. And how will we know when this is complete? The thing about relationships is you might choose to renegotiate that contract with the person after, XYZ soul lessons that you plan to learn together. After those lessons are complete, you may choose to re-enter into that soul contract with the same person or into another contract with that person and learn some new lessons together. But unless we have that high level of clarity and checking in with our relationships along the way, which is not currently built into the construct of relationships, we are winging it at best. Okay, the vast majority of relationships are formed on trauma bonds where we're incomplete, right? Rather than showing up from this state of wholeness. And it doesn't mean that like everything in our life is perfect or we have all of our shit together, but a state of wholeness would be where we're owning all of our shit, including owning the clarity about what we want to experience in relationships. Okay? Let me know if this is making sense and this is landing for y'all. I also want to tap in and see what the guides would like to bring in terms of an activation. Yay, this is good. Yes, so much. Debbie says, a way to have zero judgment and stay in neutrality. Thanks. Yeah, I actually rocked that today, didn't I? I got too much real shit to worry about. Not worry. No worry. Worry is not good. Worry, seriously, y'all, worry is like energetic voodoo. Okay. If you're worried about yourself, if you're worried about other people out there, catch yourself if you're worrying. I do this and I'm like, ooh, that's not what I want to do. Cancel. What story would serve me better? Okay. And that's when I flip from basically from what could go wrong to what could go right. Wouldn't it be cool if? Okay. Cool. Okay, Peter, you have a question about affirmations. How do you actually get yourself to believe in them? Okay, so affirmations can be tricky because sometimes we don't believe the things that we are saying. For affirmations are very good. First of all, the guides want to talk about why it's so important to speak things out loud. Sound is the fundamental creation tool, whether you believe in the Big Bang or whether you believe God spoke the universe into existence. Sound is the common denominator there. As we experience ourselves in the likeness and image of God, which is why our soul's incarnated, to experience ourselves in that level of creatorship, what we're beginning to understand quantumly is that our voice, what we speak, is what creates our reality. Have you seen the music that's played over like a thin drum screen and then the molecules of sand on top rearrange themselves based on the sound? Okay, this is how sound creates geometry. And geometry is what creates the structure of what we're experiencing here in the 3D world. Okay, geometry is where we go from the finer frequency of esoteric non-form into the denser frequencies of form. We need geometry to do that, and sound is that mechanism. Y'all following me? Okay, that somatics. Y'all all following me. Regina knows what's up. All right. So that's the reason that affirmations and our voice is so important, is because our voice is what creates reality. Now, here's where we can get tripped up is we can speak the reality that we want to experience. However, if our subconscious mind doesn't believe that that's possible, it creates an incoherence in our vibrational frequency. Okay. So how do we move ourselves back into coherence? All right. One way is to recognize that it's really just the mind. It's like, is the mind going to go into I can do this, or is the mind going to go into I can't do this? Remember, Henry Ford told us we could, whether you believe you can, whether you believe you can't, you are correct. So that's one way to show up and like mitigate this incoherence between the affirmations we're speaking in our subconscious mind not believing them. Okay. You learn to you reprogram your mind. You tell your mind enough times and it reprograms. I also love using subconscious affirmations when I'm falling asleep and when I'm waking up, because that's when our subconscious mind is the most programmable. And there's a great one on YouTube called I Am Affirmations, and that will help you to reprogram your subconscious mind. Okay, but that's one way to do it. Another way that you can work with yourself to get yourself to believe the affirmations is, okay, you may have never made $1 million before in a year. Okay. This is one of my colleagues shared this with me. Maybe you've never done that before, Emily. So maybe your subconscious mind doesn't believe that you can do it. But let me ask you this. Do you believe that you could learn how to do it? If someone came along who's done that before and they taught you how to do that and they held your hand through the process, do you think that you could learn? And I was like, yeah, I do think that I could learn that. And truthfully, y'all, I think I can learn pretty much almost anything. I mean, there are some things that probably are outside of my scope. And that is true. We all have things that are outside of our scope. All right. I had another mentor that taught me about the 4 zones that we all have. We have a zone of genius. We have a zone of excellence. We have a zone of competence. We have a zone of incompetence. All of us. I too have zones of incompetence, areas where it might be harder for me to learn. I do believe that if I give myself enough repetition at anything, I can freaking learn anything. I think most of us are that way. All right. So if you're using affirmations that feel too stretchy, or you've never actually experienced that before, you can tweak them slightly by saying, I am learning to. Okay. Let me know if this is resonating. I am learning to. And that's the most important aspect, is the construction of the syntax, the sentence itself, the I am statement. That is the statement of ultimate creation. I talk about your voice being a tool of creation. Anything that that follows I am, y'all, that's powerful stuff. Okay. All right. So we're going to bring in an activation for a higher level of awareness of our own patterns, so that we can notice when we are thinking thoughts that are incongruent with who we want to become. And especially when we're speaking stuff that we don't really want to experience. If you notice yourself saying something that, because our voices we're casting spells with our voices. All right. So if you notice that you said something that you don't actually want to experience, you just say cancel. It's that easy. All right, I can't remember who I learned cancel from. It's one of the seems like one of the big, I call it the gurus, although technically the age of the guru is over, y'all. We all got to become our own gurus here. But if anybody knows who cancel, it might have been Louise Hay. Okay. All right. So if you want to receive this activation that gives you a higher level of awareness of your own patterns, so that you can create and uncreate with more precision. You can say yes now. Good. Cool. All right. We have been hanging here a while, y'all. What is it? 50. Oh, we can still hang just a little bit more time. All right. I'm going to scroll back through and see if there are any more questions that I can pick up here. If you did ask a question and I didn't catch it, I apologize. I don't always see everything that comes through. I think you have to give StreamYard some sort of a yeah. You can show my comments along the way. Oh, yes, here we go. What is my past relationship with Janice? I see you. Okay, and Oh My George has one too. Okay, rock and roll. We're going to fire through all of the comments or all the questions that I see left here. Get as many insights coming in as possible. All right, what is my past relationship with Janice? Let me drop in. Okay, the first thing that I'm getting is a really interesting energy and sensation on my right side, and it's specifically the front of my right side, which is really interesting. I don't know what that means yet, but just noticing the data, the energy as it moves in my body. And I'm also seeing you all, I'm seeing the sea, the ocean. It feels like there was a voyage that happened with the two of you, and there's chills moving through my body as I'm saying that. And let me know if any of this is resonating for you symbolically, either in things that you've experienced in the relationship or literally things that you might have experienced in this lifetime. And this is a relationship for you to understand unconditional love and ultimate friendship and freedom, self-awareness. Free choice is really what's coming up. And again, the idea of closure. One of the reasons that it feels incomplete is because the relationship in this lifetime hasn't been moved into a place of closure where, specifically the last stage of closure, I'm not going to go into all of them because I don't know them well enough. I'm just figuring them out myself, y'all. However, stage number 4, which is the last stage, has to do with defining how the relationship looks moving forward. And that's what's causing you to continue to loop in that relationship. All right. I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Oh My George says, what can we do as soul beings to bring love and light to humanity? Moving into the golden new Aquarian light times 2026. The biggest thing is kindness. Okay. And kindness to self and kindness to others. It's kindness. And that comes through, I feel like that comes through Yeshua. He's shared with me many times before that the next level of our DNA that will be activated in terms of all 12 strands of our DNA will have to do with compassion and kindness and bringing that back into society. Okay, and all of that starts with ourself. All right, thank you, Oh My George. Scroll through. Okay. Send some love likes hearts across the screen if you enjoy hanging out here today. Random acts of kindness. Do it. I think we had feelings we figured were love, but maybe were the friendship that you spoke of. Yeah. Cool. All right. I think we've got them all. All right. Last call for your questions, y'all. Shannon Mock, did I just see you in here? I did. Hi. Glad you're here, buddy. Yep. Starting to see 2026 is the year of nervous system health. Okay. I will close with one more quick story. So I share with y'all, like in a state of overwhelm. Okay. So it's not just the personal things in my life. There's actually so many opportunities to participate in creative projects and to grow and expand right now. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. And one of these amazing projects that I've had the privilege of diving into, okay, it's associated here with Rise of the Guardians. And it is a nonprofit called The Way of Being. Shout out to The Way of Being. The Way of Being is here to bring systems, structures, and paradigms of the new earth and actually get these implemented into society. And so some of the meetings that I've been having have been looking like meetings not only with the council members of The Way of Being, but also with indigenous elders and event creators, specifically to bring together a powerful Stargate activation. Okay, we've got storytellers from the Hopi Nation, along with Navajo, Toltec. We're bringing together as much synergy and ancient wisdom as possible with modern day wisdom and seekers to create this really powerful experience. And part of it's going to be happening after this conference. All right. Called The Way of Being. I'm sorry, the Day of Being, which is a free event and a free gathering. And then there will also be some more opportunities to dive in. But before I derail into that, let me get back to like this nervous system idea. So in talking with the indigenous elders, they are bringing back wisdom that, like, it's one of those, if you know, you know, and most of us don't know. Right? But according to the native prophecies, we are in the fifth turning, shifting of the poles of the planet. And there has been a mechanism that has facilitated the pole shift. I'll say that. It was great fire. It was great flood. All right. The next one, the fifth turning that's potentially coming. Now, the prophecy also says that we do not have to experience it this time. That the new earth can come into existence. So what does that actually mean? Okay. First of all, let me talk about, though, the mechanism that has been prophesied to shift the poles during this fifth turning. It's the great shaking of Mother Earth. Why would she potentially go through a great shake? To rebalance her nervous system. What the records have shown me, what we know from quantum science, is that our bodies, I talked about that geometry, the importance of geometry and understanding geometry as it brings things into form. It's also important to understand repeating geometry. We have the same fundamental geometrical structure as planet Earth. We are a holographic representation of Mother Earth. Okay? Her nervous system is a reflection of our collective nervous systems. All right? You want to know one of the best ways to shake off all of the stress and everything that your nervous system is holding that's getting all freaking jammed up inside of you and creating dis-ease, lack of health, lack of vitality, distorts our field and makes us susceptible to control and suffering, self-induced suffering that we create from our own mind? Stalking your ex's new girlfriend, aka? Hello? Can I get some amens? So we've got to take care of the nervous system for ourselves to work. Okay, so long story short, the Akashic Records blasted into my field when we are doing this Stargate activation. It's so important that I bring in, and it's important, aka ridiculous. We're going to end the show today with some ridiculousness. Kai Van Bodie will be proud of me. That's who I learned this from. All right. So there is a move in Qigong that can fix all of this so simply. It will release all of the static that is in your nervous system, that is clogging your system from doing what it's naturally supposed to do. All right. And it's called trembling horse. So you got to get your hands up like this. I'm going to try to flex. Actually, no, let me just put my jacket back on. Okay, y'all keep your arms up there while I put my jacket on. None of y'all have to do this on camera. Shit, my jacket's inside out too, though. You can't see that, can you? Okay, no. All right, arms up. All right, you're going to start with the shaking. It's called trembling horse for a reason. I got to take my rings off because I'm going to fling them all over here, okay? Then you bring it into the body, and you shake it all the way down your body, guys, all the way down. Peter knows how to do this, okay? If that weren't ridiculous enough, you also have to sound like a horse, like literally trembling horse, like, okay? Maybe this is all just an elaborate ploy to get us to laugh at ourselves, maybe. But I know it works, and I know it works. All right, so let's do our work to save the planet. Don't mind those triceps. Okay, arms up. Get it. Okay. If anybody wants to go back and catch a screenshot of me doing that and send it to me, I will post it. We'll all have a good laugh. All right. One more time. Get it up. Let's go. Who's already feeling better? All right. One more time. Kai's so much better. Good stuff. All right. If you will do trembling horse, if I will remember to do trembling horse 3 times a day, I would not be in a state of overwhelm. That's what I'm hearing my guides say right now. Just do the things. Do the simple little things. All right. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for I'm back. Hit the wrong button. Sorry. Hit the wrong button. I wanted to scroll back up here to the top and make sure I flash this comment back here up on the screen. Actually, let me just go get it here again. It's probably easier. All right. So for those of you who have not yet taken me up on this free intuitive development training, this is going to get you up to speed with your psychic senses. Every single human on the planet is psychic, and you need your psychic senses to tap in to the field and get intelligence instantly. Okay. Promise you, we're all wired to do this. However, there are parts of you that have been shut off and dumbed down. And those are the parts that we need to turn back on so you can be good at this. All right. So that's how you get good at it. I love you all. If this has been supportive to you, please share it out. And I'll see you back here next week.